Hello everyone, I am Dr. Pooja Raj Srivastava and today we are going to discuss about the topic formal versus informal language. Formal and informal language serve different purposes. The tone, the choice of words and the way the words are put together vary between the two styles. Formal language is less personal than informal language. It is used when writing for professional or academic purposes like university assignments. Formal language does not use colloquialism, contractions, or first person pronouns such as I or we. Informal language is more casual and spontaneous. It is used when communicating with friends or family either in writing or in conversation. It is used when writing personal emails, text messages, and in some business correspondence. The tone of informal language is more personal than formal language. There are situations where we need to use formal language, whether oral or written. We observe the rules related to structure of sentences and words used. There are certain formal situations where we need to use formal language, for example, while writing business emails, or in academic writings, or while delivering the presentations, or preparing reports, or legal documents, or in the same situation while in public speaking, in speeches or lectures, or in job interviews. Whereas some informal situations are like whenever we are having conversation in our day to day life, or writing personal emails on social media sites, or in spontaneous speech, or writing the text messages. Remember, when you are speaking, writing, or analyzing language in a formal situation, what are the things that we have to take care of? Exclamation marks, needless words like well and you know, first and second person point of view, beginning sentences with coordinating conjunctions, too many short, choppy sentences that could be combined to make more complex sentence structures, avoid most shortenings in formal writing. In formal English, you talk on the telephone, not the phone. Similarly, limit your use of absolute terms such as everybody, always, never. Avoid cliches and colloquialisms. What are the various aspects of language that we have to take care of in formal language and informal language? It is grammar, vocabulary, contractions, acronyms, and colloquial language. English grammar is the way in which meanings are encoded into wordings in the English language. This includes the structure of words, phrases, clauses, sentences, and the structure of whole texts. In formal language, grammar is more complex and sentences are generally longer. We can refer this particular example where in formal situation it is we regret to inform you that the delivery will be delayed due to adverse weather, whereas in informal language it is sorry won't be able to deliver today, bad weather. In the next thing, formal languages use modal verbs. For example, we would be grateful if, or could you kindly inform us as to whether. Now, the usage of pronoun. Formal language is less personal and is more likely to use we rather than I. Formal language tends to be impersonal and precise. You may use the passive voice or an adverbial clause in place of the personal pronoun. The writer's presence, signaled by the use of the personal pronoun, can make writing more informal and less credible. We can refer the example here. In formal situation, we have pleasure in announcing, whereas an informal situation it is I am happy to say. One more example can be taken over here. We regret to inform you that. This is the example of formal language, whereas I am sorry but is the example of an informal language. The first sentence is more formal and can be perceived by the audience to be more credible. Speech is generally slower in formal language, allowing for correct and clear pronunciation, and the tone of voice is more serious. We use various verbs in sentences, and it is true that these verbs also have formal and informal tone. We can refer various examples stated here. For example, rather than saying sorry, which is informal, we can say apologize, which is more formal. The other example is set up. So it is an informal way of expressing ourselves. So it is better to use the word establish in comparison to set up. Then again, there can be the example which is examine. Examine is more formal in comparison to the word look at. Then there is an example to find out. So we can use the word discover, which is more formal over here. In the same way, we can see the example that most of the time we use the word leave out, which is informal. So rather than using the word leave out, we can say that omit word, which is more formal. There are various other examples given related to the verbs that you can use for your reference. We need to be selective while choosing vocabulary for formal language. A vocabulary is also known as word stock, is a set of familiar words within a person's language. A vocabulary usually developed with age serves as a useful and fundamental tool for communication and acquiring knowledge. Vocabulary needs to be adjusted depending on the level of formality of any written work. Consider the following words: investigate, examine, check out. Each of them has a different level of formality. While check out can be used in informal writing and speech, using it in a formal research paper would not be appropriate. Here we can take the example of greetings that we use in our day to day life. There are several informal greetings that we use like hi, see you later, what's up. Whereas in formal situation we have to make sure that the word usage is correct. So it is in the form of we are using hello, goodbye, how are you, or sincerely, good morning, and so on. Word selection is very important in formal situation, and we have to be very cautious while using words in formal situations or in informal situation. Like in informal situation we can use the word need, whereas it is better to use the word require in formal situation. In the same way we use buy in informal situation, whereas it is better to use purchase in comparison to the word buy. We generally say okay, but it is always better to use acceptable when we are in formal situation. In the same manner, if it is a word help, it is more related to the informal one, whereas we can use assistance for better formal situation. There are various phrases that are relatively more informal, and to use formal language we need to use another better expression. For example, at the place of sorry, we can say, please accept our apologies for. At the same time, in informal language, we use what do you need. Here, to achieve formality in the language, we can say, please let us know of your requirements. In the same way, there is an expression like what do you want, which is informal. To be formal, we can say, please state your business. Then again, there is one example like say hello to, which is informal, and to be formal or to use formal language, we can say give my regards to. And there are some other examples as well which you can refer. Contractions are two words made shorter by placing an apostrophe where letters have been omitted. Contractions are more casual, and if you are striving for more formal style, they should not be used. Contractions in negative sentences should be especially avoided since they are easy to miss. In informal language, they are used for easier flow and faster speech. You can refer it in the given example. An acronym is a word or name formed from the initial components of a longer name or phrase, usually using individual letters as in WHO, which stands for World Health Organization. In formal English, you should limit your use of acronyms. Know what acronyms may be used in your writing. These are not used in formal language. Certain abbreviations like ASAP, which is informal, should be avoided. Use as soon as possible at the place of ASAP, which is more formal. In the same manner, it is the word advertisement that should be used and is more formal rather than using the word ad or advert. Colloquialism or colloquial language is the linguistic style used for casual communication. Colloquial, conversational, informal refer to types of speech or to usage not on a formal level. Colloquial is often mistakenly used with a connotation of disapproval as if it meant vulgar or bad or incorrect usage, whereas it is merely a familiar style used in speaking and writing. Here we can take the example like rather than using wanna coffee, which is informal, we can use the sentence that is, would you like to have coffee? It is extremely important to understand and utilize the nuances of formal language so that you can deal with formal situations.